this transfer window, there's more crap than ever before, basically. You really do have to sift through this. I've already done half a video. I'm having to re-record it now. Because the start of the video is based on an article in a magazine called 90 Minutes. They've also got an online presence, as most magazines do nowadays. They're running with an article which basically says West Ham agreed deal in principle to sign Benfica starlet Gedson Fernandes on 18-month loan deal. And as I'm recording the video, I'm thinking, this guy is familiar. This guy is familiar. And then, of course, I did remember. I stopped the video, I went and double-checked, and yes, it is the guy that we were linked with 3 years ago, very, very close to signing, went on and signed for Tottenham on loan. Didn't really work out for him at Tottenham, went back to Benfica, and then went back to Besiktas. So where on earth of 90 Minutes, who are a reputable, established magazine with an online presence now? Where have they got this article from? Well, they have basically incorporated a tweet. And the tweet is from Sky Sports News. And it is an authentic tweet from the official Sky Sports News account. The trouble is the tweet is dated the 9th of January 2020. So you've got to be so careful with this stuff. People are so desperate for stories that they're going to go and... I don't think they were trying to be tricky with it. But anyway, it's just an old story. So you've got to be careful. You've got to wade through that. So here we are, redoing the video without that included in it. But I'm just saying, I am trying to go through some of these stories and sort of double check each and every one. Let me give you a story which has a little bit more credit to it. Let's put it that way. And that is West Ham now have a chance of signing £30,000 a week start at the London Stadium. The star they're talking about, everyone's a star. Even if you're a crap player, you're a star, right? I'm not saying this guy's a crap player, but, you know, even journeyman, even like an average player is a star. So this is for Torino star Ola Aina, who used to play for Chelsea, funny enough, came through Chelsea's academy, Nigerian fullback. Apparently, we were interested in this guy in the summer transfer window, if you remember. There's a little bit of a difference here now, and this is why this might have a little believable part to it. He's from Torino, and that is where Nikola Vlasic is. Now, apparently, either the sporting director or president, whoever it might be, for Torino, has already flown over once this year to have talks with West Ham about the permanent transfer. We've got an agreement in place for Vlasic to sign permanently at the end of the season. It's basically an option obligation to buy whatever it is following his loan. I think it's about 13 million. Apparently, the Torino sporting director president wants to get that lower. Now, basically, I think they're trying to convince us that they've got something we want in terms of Ola Aina, and certainly we've got something they want in terms of Nikola Vlasic. He is a decent enough fullback. Don't get me wrong. Again, I went and had a little look. I don't know. I couldn't attest to how good he is at wing back. I mean, this is something we're going to need to do, and something we're going to need to get sorted if David Moyes wants to persevere with this three at the back with wing back system, whatever he wants to play it. I don't feel we're quite good enough. We don't quite have enough punch. Do we? I think probably our best attacking wing back is probably Vladimir Soufal, and he's hit and miss. Let's be perfectly honest. I do find the dynamic of the transfer window interesting. Because of the David Moyes situation, which I don't overly want to go into. I'll give you another article now, which is Newcastle and West Ham learn the asking price of 23-year-old target. Why don't they say star? 23-year-old star. Actually, this is Brereton Diaz. I wouldn't mind Brereton Diaz being called a star, by the way, because he sort of is for Blackburn, and he scores lots of goals in the Championship, doesn't he? And to be fair, not just the Championship, he scored a goal against us this season. It's £15 million. That's the price. We're interested. Leeds are interested, and obviously Newcastle are interested as well. I mean, they got to stop buying strikers. Well, they got Callum Wilson, they got Isak, and obviously they got Chris Wood. Look, Newcastle can buy what they want. They got enough money, but anyway, I think this is someone we need. As for Leeds, Leeds, my words, Leeds don't need it. Let's be fair, did you see Sonny Perkins scored for Leeds last night in injury time? was heartbreaking. Really. I'm gutted. I'm gutted about that. Before I go any further, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, which you can download by clicking the link underneath this screen. Why would you download the OneFootball app? Well, the OneFootball app does all the heavy lifting for you in terms of West Ham stories. If what you want is just West Ham news, then when you download the app, and it is a generic world global football app with everything on it, what you can ask it to do is it's got a very, very clever filter. It will just go looking for the West Ham news. So when I signed up, I said I support West Ham. What it does, it will go searching the internet, searching the newspapers for all the West Ham stories and deliver them straight to your phone. So you don't have to go sifting through all of this rubbish. It's free. That's a really, really good thing as well. So if you don't like it, you can just uninstall it. It's a really good app. I think I first downloaded it to my phone about 2.5 years ago. It's stayed on there ever since. Tell a lie, actually. I've changed phones since then, so it was on the old phone and it's on the new phone. That's the OneFootball app. Back to this Ben Brereton. Actually, before we get back to the Ben Brereton Diaz, so Sonny Perkins. So they were 2-0 down against Cardiff, Leeds. And I wasn't sure it would particularly work out for him at Leeds, I've got to say, because they've got a really, really talented young striker there anyway. They've got money to buy other strikers. But, fair play. They were 2-0 down to Cardiff. He got an injury time leveller to make it 2-2, which I guess takes them to a replay. Did a really good interview. It's a heartbreaking interview afterwards where he starts talking about, there's no better fans than the Leeds fans to score in front of and all of that. Yeah, I guess he's going to say that stuff. He's got to say that stuff. But he looked, he doesn't look like a boy. He looks ready for football. I just think this is a massive mess. I'm not going to talk too much about David Moyes, actually. Otherwise, that's going to get me annoyed anyway. There you go. But Ben Brereton Diaz. This is really interesting. So 15 million. Are Leeds going to be interested? Well, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But they seem to be doing all right with the strikers there. This is something we've got to do. There's another couple of articles which I read through before doing this transfer roundup, which are pretty much saying Moyes has lost faith in Mikel Antonio. We don't know whether that's true. Again, that's just made up. Moyes plays his cards pretty close to his chest. Moyes is not going to tell somebody he's lost faith in Antonio and then it gets through to a journalist. People are looking at it and they're basically trying to extrapolate what the net result will be. I'm not sure that's the case. However, will he privately look and think Antonio's not a massive threat? I think he probably will. It's how desperate David Moyes is to sort it out. It's how much urgency he's got in terms of his job. If I was him, I certainly wouldn't be looking around at the moment and trying to waste any time with my recruitment because look, he might have one game left. He might only have the Wolves game left, which does make it interesting with targets like, I say like this. Anyone that's not a loan target, if I was the board at the moment, I'd be looking to see what happened in the next game. So there's a lot of maybe pressure on the board to get the deals done early. We see other clubs, they're getting their business done early on in the transfer window. I'd be very, very careful about sanctioning a deal for somebody that David Moyes wants, put it this way. Unless you knew who your next manager was going to be. If you already had someone waiting in the wings, if David Moyes loses against Wolves, you've already said to this guy, oh, by the way, if Moyes loses, you're in. And this guy's turned around and said, oh, actually, I would like Ben Brereton Diaz as well. And then you've mitigated the risk of trying to bring this particular guy in. Ben Brereton Diaz, 15 million. What's the value of staying in the Premier League? You've got to say, if he helps, and I think he would help, then it's fair enough, isn't it? I do wonder with this Fernandes thing, just going back to the top of it, if what they mean is when they're looking at Fernandes, they've actually got him mixed up with somebody else, like Enzo Fernandez or somebody like that, who, by the way, I think would Chelsea were willing to pay £100 million for this player. I can't think that we're actually seriously interested in him. I just don't know. I'm just looking back and looking for trying to get some reasoning why they might have. They're not quite Dembele's, Fernandez's, but there are an awful lot of Fernandez's. Actually, what's one Fernandez? One Fernandez is a Fernandez. A smorgasbord of Fernandez's. You'd have to say a Fernandez's. I don't know. I've lost my mind. Clearly the coughing fit has impacted me in some way. There's loads of other transfer nonsense here. I'm going to go with it. I'll get back to you in a couple of days with some more transfer gossip, because quite frankly, this stuff really needs seriously sifting through.